Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you may be. Welcome to the coast of the Netherlands for the ninth round of the sixth DRS season. We are here at the Zandvoort circuit in the Netherlands, situated right next to, well, obviously the coast. This track features a lot of elevation as well as a lot of bumps in the context of Project Apex, and it is one of the races determined by skill and consistency, given how difficult and unpopular this track is, especially among drivers. Nonetheless, though, we are here for this 20-lap race, a race in one of the most infamous circuits. So let's just run through the grid order from the top 10. Starting in 10th is the Cadillac of Cookie Trooper, who will start with a 1.7444. 300ths of a second ahead is the McLaren of Happy, whose team is trying to fight Red Bull for the Constructors' Championship. He is the only McLaren driver to start in the top 10 today, having set a time of a 1.7413. Sweet Jelly starts in 8th with a 1.7363. And the Mercedes of Art will start with a 1.72. A really tight bottom 4 of the top 10 here. We enter the 1.6 range, where the rest of the drivers finish. In 5th and 6th are the two Audis of Speed and Gilham respectively, setting a 1.066 and a 1.068 respectively as well. The other Cadillac, besides Cookie Trooper, is Zyro, who will start in 4th. On the second row, with a 1.065, just 10th ahead, is the Alpine of Basket, who got a podium the last time around. Will start in 3rd with a 1.064. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Zandvoort. The Dutch Grand Prix is underway. Both Red Bulls get a decent getaway off the line as Basket and Zyro maintain their positions going into turn 1. One of the Audis is trying to fight to their way into the podium spots as Alan and Pedro get a very good start going into turn 3, the famous banking turn. And it's a very good start by Alan as he gains a huge lead. Can't say the same for Pedro. He's being pressured on by Zyro and Speed and Basket. And that's Pedro who flips on the first lap in the second sector. And that is a terrible start for the Red Bulls race as he falls all the way down into the back half of the grid. And Alan has just been gifted a wide lead going into the next DRS detection zone, now straight mode in 2026, as Zyro takes P2 from P4. What a start for the Cadillac driver. Basket, who started in P3, there's someone in the gravel there, there's one of the McLarens in the gravel there. As I was saying, Speed, who started in I think P5, now in P3. And he's back to P5 as Zyro takes the fastest lap on the first lap. And Alan, with the rest of the grid nowhere to be seen, Basket takes back his podium spot as he looks for 2 consecutive podiums after getting his first of the season last week in Monza. He's looking to do it again, but it won't come. But of course it will come with challenges, with Pedro obviously in his championship 5, which is slowly starting to slip away by the race. So is Para as well. So we're into lap 3 of this relatively short circuit, and I was mentioning earlier about the straight mode balls. They do have it retrofitted onto the track. Didn't know him early on as well. He has not been having the best stroke of luck. Oh, what a crash to Para Roblox Studio. On the bump, he has rocketed straight into the wall just going into turn 3. And he's miraculously come out unscathed. He's gonna get away with it scot-free, but he will fall all the way down into 13th. Well, he's got 9 10s on Pedro. Oh, what is that? One of the Audis, Speed, has had a moment, and both Audis have had a moment in the opening half of the race. That is just a stroke of bad luck. Pedro takes the lead as I think Alan doesn't box. I think that was that a time penalty. I think that could have been a time penalty for Alan as he's down into P3. So it's 4 warnings for him and he loses the race lead to his championship teammate with Basket in P2 now. So the two who were fighting it out earlier now do get the best of outcomes, as Basket is looking to get a record best this season. It'll be very interesting to see where this team could go next season. And maybe even toward the end of the season, we still have quite a few races to go. So speaking of which, the races ahead in the calendar after today, the following week, we go on our American quadruple header. We go to Miami and Las Vegas on 20th and 27th. And on American Independence Day, we go towards Mexico. And after that, we'll head over to Canada before a 2-week holiday break. Looking at Zyro, who's been chased down by Basket. The Alpine looking for a second consecutive podium. Cadillac had their podium streak ruined by the same person, Basket, when it was GTR who lost the position at the last stretch of the race to Basket. And now Basket is looking to break Cadillac hearts again, this time around against Zyro, and noticeably GTR is not in presence today. The final corner, we come across the line once more for the 18th lap, and Pedro is so close to being within a second where he could then activate his overtake mode, and that would give him a great boost in this World Championship. So with a fight in P1 and a fight in P3, anything can happen within the podium here. Pedro could win, Alan could win, Basket could be on the podium, Illegal could be on the podium, or maybe some of them might not even be finishing this race. Pedro is only behind by 6/10 now. He has recovered 3.9 seconds before going into the penultimate lap. In the penultimate lap, just coming across the line, Alan falls into P2 and Pedro goes into P1. We're still looking at a podium fight here between Illegal and Basket, but much more importantly, Pedro is gaining so much time on Alan. Alan, who had a very heavy undercut on his teammate, may have just not worked out in the end, and that is Illegal and Basket flipping at the same corner. What are the odds of that? One of them flipped, was worried the other was gonna get by, and the other flips as well. They both get a disadvantage of the flip, and that is a moment that, well, we managed to get on camera and will forever be replayed into my mind going to the next couple of weekends. Final time, Pedro, who had started this race right behind his teammate by just a few hundredths, and after staying behind his teammate for such an incredibly long time, in the final stretches, his strategy has worked out amazingly for him, and for his fight in the World Championship, he comes across the line first to win the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort, and he beats his teammate once again as Alan comes across the line 10 seconds later, and the gap has been greatly reduced to just 4 points. That is huge. That is incredibly huge for Pedro, and huge for Red Bull as well. A 1-2 finish. Zyro finds the last podium spot, and Basket will fall short of it. We are looking at Yadnil in P9. He hasn't had the best of races. He started outside of the points, but slowly climbed his way back through, and he will come home with a very respectable 2 points, with Para being our last points finisher, just 5/10 ahead of Alex in 11th. And that right there is your Dutch Grand Prix. Pedro gets a largely significant win against teammate Alan, where Red Bull now see A huge championship lead going into the next round in Miami. Zaro clinches a podium for Cadillac, and Basket continues his great run of form, gaining points after points after points. We'll see you next week in Miami. My name's Suki, and thanks very much for joining along the DRS Season 6 Dutch Grand Prix.